What's up, everybody? Jordan Stupar here. You've made it to another Jordan Stupar Show episode. I've not been keeping track of which episode I'm on. It's like 6, 7, 8. I don't even know anymore. But anyway, I am absolutely jacked, as you would say, geeked.
Geeked.
About my man, Jeff Van Kampen, in the building, a fellow Milwaukee hustler, entrepreneur, who's slaying it, making his way in business. Jeff, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing exceptional. I should probably ask, can I swear on here?
You can swear, yeah.
All right, cool. I didn't want to overstep my bounds. You know, that stuff naturally comes out.
Dude,
you know,
you can do whatever you want to do on the show.
Dude, I appreciate you having me.
Because it's my show.
Exactly. Dude. Hell yeah, dude. This is great, man. It's so funny that we're here because we actually got affiliated through a podcast.
We did, like 3 years ago.
Probably about 3 years ago.
Something like that.
Yes, sir.
You guys were coming into my old office downtown.
Yeah, I was like, who's this hustler on Instagram? I got to get him on my show and get to know him, you know? Best get to know you session ever is through podcast.
It definitely works well.
100%.
Because then I got to meet you and Nick, and dude, you guys have grown so much since then. How old was your business at that time, like 3 years ago?
Dude, when we did our podcast together, like it'll be 3 years of me working full time on November 1st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like we must have done an interview with you maybe like that January, early 2019. So I'd been at it for like 2 months. I think I was making maybe $500 personal income a month. So we've grown. And so have you, though. You know, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, dude, I think a lot has happened in the last 3 years.
Absolutely, dude. Good things, man.
But, you know, I wanted to have you on because obviously we know each other. We're in the same city. We're in two completely different kind of industries, whatever. We're both growing and flourishing. And obviously wanted to have you on because, well, I like you. And also you've been through some of my stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's less about what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to find out from you and wanted to ask you basically some good business questions. Because that's what most of these people are here listening for is sales, business, marketing, entrepreneurship, so on and so forth. What is the number one thing that you've deployed as far as a skill set, mindset, just something that you've kind of moved into the table, if you will, as an entrepreneur that has probably contributed to most of the success that you've experienced over the last couple of years growing your business?
Yeah, there's one thing I talk about a lot, which you've seen is 1% a day, which is basically the idea that don't expect any fucking miracles on a daily basis, you know? So just keep going.
So you're telling me that just random great things don't happen all the time?
It doesn't, you know, every once in a while you have one of those days where you're like, holy shit, I'm glad that happened. But it's always a compounding of all the shit you did in the past, you know? And so when we got started, okay, so I'll tell you what I feel like were like the 3 or 4 like real big things to exponential growth.
Go for it, dude. That's more value right there.
Number one is choosing a fucking space. So when we first started, we were running paid ads. So like people don't know, our specialty is like advertising. That's what we do. Paid Facebook ads, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And so when we first started, we basically were trying to figure out like whose money can we get to test advertisement? Like who's willing to give us $1,000 that we can then run in the ads so we can get good at running ads. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we started doing that, but we were doing it for everybody. Real estate agents, a little bit of chiro, some fitness. And then we kind of lasered in on fitness. And then it just like, we just weren't vibing. You know what I mean? So then this is actually funny how this works. So like in 2020, very beginning, January 1, we said we're done with everybody. We're going to only serve chiropractors. That was January 1st, 2020, right? And what we did after that was, okay, COVID hits, all the gyms basically got shut down. Yeah. But all the chiros could stay open, right? And so it was a beautiful pivot at the time that we didn't even know was going to be beautiful because we didn't know COVID was a thing.
Right.
And then it turns out it was brilliant because chiros were deemed essential in a lot of states. And they had done most of their new patient finding through through in-person events, dinners, workshops, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. But they couldn't do that. And so they had to go online, right? Yeah. And so we started a Facebook group. We got our first couple clients through there, started getting really some pretty wicked results. So that was the first big piece of exponential growth was like just choosing a niche or a niche, however you say that, whatever the word is. It's pretty important. Right? Super important. And so we went all in on that. And then August of 2020, we had like a little bit of money saved, but we were getting really good results. And so we ended up partnering with a guy named Dr. Chris Zano, who is now a coach in our program, but he was like, not even was, very heavy hitter in like if you're in chiropractic, you know who that is.
He's like a well-known guy.
Super well known.
So instant credibility for your brand.
And that was it, was always trying to bridge that like trust gap between these kids who are just trying to market my practice and these chiros who they have this mentality. Like most people do that. My business is different, which if you know anything about business, you know all business is the same. But we had to we had to break through, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so we pivoted to Cairo, partnered with him in August, and then at that same time started running paid ads for our own business, Facebook ads, because we didn't have enough money up to that point.
Yep.
So we had saved enough money, partnered with him, put him on the front end facing of the advertisements.
Yep.
And shit, dude, from like August of, I think we were doing like maybe $3,000 a month in June of 2020. And then by, I think, March, we were at about 90. So it was pretty exponential growth. And those were really the three big things.
That's nuts.
One group of people, get an avatar who can have credibility.
Yep.
And then run your own ads, because don't be a bitch.
And I always think that's hilarious because, like, dude, you know how many marketers there are, you know? There's
So many.
a trillion. And what's funny is, like, none of them run their own ads.
And
Like,
that's what's so funny about it.
And I'm
dude.
like, if you can't do it for you, like, why would I feel confident about handing over $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month to you if you not confident with your own money to run ads?
That's exactly it. You got to put your balls on the line. That'd be like a financial advisor being in debt. You know what I mean? Okay, I should rephrase. Some debt is good.
Some
right?
debt is good. Yeah,
But
yeah.
like the financial advisor living paycheck to paycheck,
Credit card
driving
debt.
some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
some-
credit card debt, driving some piece, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I think you should put your money here." It's like, "Oh, really?" Because I don't even know where you're putting your own money.
Exactly.
You know? So
Exactly.
you got to walk the talk.
Okay, I like that. So I think there's a ton of lessons in that. Now, the other thing that I know that you always post pretty much every single day, whether you're kind of like busy or not busy, there's always one post on your stories every day. It's the 1% thing, but also you got this bricklayer thing.
Bricklayers.
You're laying bricks.
That's it.
Where did that kind of come from, and how does that kind of fit into that 1%, philosophy that you kind of live by?
Yeah, that's good shit right there. So basically what we ended up doing, and not even I say we, it was mostly just I started doing it. So I started going on a walk every morning. So I would wake up, and then when I was first starting out, I would make the mistake and look at my phone, look at my email. And the thing about, like, if you don't know this is important, your brain is like super, super susceptible in the first like half hour when you're awake. So if you wake up and look at your phone and some client texts you and they're pissed,
Damn it.
or some employee or just
got
some
me.
shit.
You got
right?
me. I check my phone like immediately.
Bro, I used to always do that. I can tell you, like, man, the days that like I would have some bad, like something bad right away, where I'd literally wake
Ruins
up.
your whole day.
Dude, it like my heart would start racing. I hadn't even got out of bed yet. I hadn't even thought about myself yet,
Facts.
So I started going on this walk, and then I just started taking the same picture every single day, and it was just 1%, because it was back to like I said in the beginning, like I'm not looking for a miracle today. I'm looking for 1%.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when you think about the concept of laying bricks, it's like if you put one fucking brick on the ground, it's pretty much a worthless brick. But if you start to stack these bricks up over and over, one by one, every single day, eventually you have this house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you have something tangible, but like that tangible asset came from those little bricks every single day. So although you may not feel like you're making progress, that's all you need to do. If you can lay one brick a day, you're good.
That's big facts. And that's something that I feel probably most people, at least ambitious people, especially entrepreneurs, if you're trying to build something, it can be so intimidating, like, I know where I want to go. I know the things I want to have, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why can't I have them right now?
Right.
Like, I'm looking for that miracle, dude. And we all are. We're like, I just want that car in the driveway. I want that house to live in, And it's like, you just got to slow down, stand back, and then sometimes just look back and be like, dude, I've laid a lot of bricks.
Straight
Like,
up, dude.
This home that I want to be in is almost built. It's almost done,
Right.
And I think that's powerful. And I feel too. I just read this book by Dan Sullivan.
Okay.
And I think Benjamin Hardy. Called "The Gap and the Gain," and it's basically all of what you just mentioned. With a lot of people kind of want to get something quickly or whatever, and we always live in between our reality versus our ideal. Mm-hmm. And that creates a feeling of need and like, I need this and blah, blah, blah. And it can kind of drag us backwards, where if we can live in, holy shit, I came from here, I'm here now, I'm not at my ideal, but I can be like grateful and thankful for all the things I've built. That allows you to be living in more of a want, like I just want this, but I'm grateful for what I have. And it allows you to be more creative and ultimately more productive because you're not focused in on the gap. You're focused on what you've gained. What are the skills I've gained, so on and so forth. So I found that to be interesting, and that's why I love your concept of 1% bricklayer type thing.
That's exactly it, dude. I think that, like you said, like it very, very shortly after you start making anywhere decent income, it very quickly becomes not about the money. I mean, it's still about the money, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure like you're in the same spot where it's like you could do exactly what you're doing today for the rest of your life and you'd be totally fine. But you have to make it about something more. And I think part of that, like you said, is like the ability to look backwards. Because if you're always looking forwards, like that's good, but it can be hella stressful because you'll never think you're good enough. Your situation's not good enough. Your house ain't good enough. Your car, you know what I mean? It's just this constant thing. So like when you look back, like that's a real good source of gratitude. Huge.
It's massive. And, I think, there's a couple other successful entrepreneurs we know here in town and that are quite a bit ahead of us in terms of, things.
Yeah, exactly. 100%,
I got some of his products right back over here.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out Josh Delaney.
Shout out to Josh Delaney, Plant Goods, Way Goods. But like in all seriousness, it's so easy to be like friends with him. He's local, he's cool, whatever, down to earth. But it's so easy sometimes to trap yourself in the, damn, dude, he just sold, his company for millions. And like, dude, I want to do that. And like, I want to be there right now. But it's like, wait a second. Sometimes you have to talk to that person and be like, by the way, how long have you been in business? 8 years. Oh, okay. All right. I'm in year 1.5.
I'm good.
Like,
yeah, dude.
I'm doing just fine,
are you familiar with Jim Rohn at all?
Yeah.
So Jim Rohn, and there's been other people that have said this, but I really firmly believe this, is that like, for me, like right now, and I'm going to use myself as an example. Right?
Yeah.
So like for me right now, if I all of a sudden like woke up and someone was like, hey man, I'll buy your company for $25 million. Like that type of energy, like I don't even think my character is ready for that yet, right? And so what Jim Rohn would always say is that if you were to take all the money in the world and you were to distribute it equally amongst every single person on earth, every single person on earth has the exact same dollar as the next person. Eventually, in time, all the money would land back in the same pockets of the people who had it originally. Right? And that's because like you have to have the right energy to hold on to the money. Otherwise, if you just get it, like that's why a lot of athletes go broke. Because they go from college to pro, like some money to millions, tens of millions of dollars a year, and then in 3 years they're bankrupt.
Same thing with like Powerball winners. It's like, hey, here's 500 million. You just came out of the trailer park. You've never touched 10 grand before. You got 500 million. Dude, give them like 2 years. They're flat broke, in debt. And it's like, it's because they never had a plan for the money. They didn't have the energy for the money, like you mentioned. And it's just like, dude, they revert right back to what they know because they're comfortable being broke versus learning how to be comfortable being rich.
100%, dude. So I think, like he said, the marathon, not the sprint. But
that's all
it's good to look back, though, man, for sure, because it's like you definitely make progress every day, every year, every month, whatever. But if you're always looking forward, it can be hard to like actually have that gratitude. Because you're just on fucking social media and you're like, well, I'm over here in Milwaukee in 1,300 square feet. That guy's got a 40,000 square foot office. You know what I mean? Like I suck. And then all of a sudden you realize like, oh shit. He's been playing the game for 15 years. I've been playing the game for 3.
Exactly.
He's 5X. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think time is like the biggest thing. Like I do this little equation, and it's hard to explain just on audio or whatever, but it's like, how do you know that you're in the right vehicle or opportunity to become successful or whatever your definition of success is? And it's like, people are like, how do I know I'm in the right job? Or how do I know this is the right job? It's like, well, where do you really want to take your life? What do you want to do? And then, I think you have to measure things like your energy, your effort. I think you have to look at the frequency and consistency at which you apply yourself. Are you just working once a week? Like, it's going to take a while to get success. And, all of these different things over a period of time. And, like, I look at my business and I'm like, dude, I don't even want to know where this whole thing's going to be in 15 years. It's like...
Right.
That's Bugatti money. It has to be.
It has to be.
Because there's just no point in burning this much oil.
Yeah. There's no way I'm doing all this shit right now to not have that.
Right, exactly.
100%, dude. No, I think that's genius, man. I think. Well, wasn't it you that originally inspired us to read the Road Less Stupid?
Yeah.
Keith Cunningham.
Keith Cunningham.
That like is basically like I just started reading that like officially.
Yeah.
Because I have to take a quiz on it for this program that I'm in. I should have read it fucking a year ago when you told me.
Jackass.
Yeah, right. But at any rate, it's just like a lot of the time it's just more so like, at least in the very beginning of the book, because I've only read the first couple of chapters, but it's ultimately like you just gotta not do the wrong shit.
Just don't do.
You gotta actually
shit.
think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's like where it comes back to like again that money falling back into everyone who had it.
Yep.
Is because like they haven't processed the shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to go through the levels to get to the game, and that's where social media can be so like inspiring. Sure.
Yeah.
Detrimental. Absolutely.
100%.
Because you're on there looking at people who have different circumstances, they have a different opportunity, they live in a different city, they have different upbringing. Like, you're your own race, bro. That's it.
That's it. And I think if there's any one thing that I think I've done halfway decent with entrepreneurship or being a salesperson or whatever, it's I've never really stacked myself up against anybody else.
That's good.
Like, yes, of course, I get a little envious every time I see somebody in a better car than me or a better house. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, I want that. But then I'm like, I'll get there. Like,
right.
It's totally fine. And also, I think one of the biggest wins that I'm having right now is I'm constantly draining more money into my business, reinvesting. I'm not playing scared, which you know is a big part of growth. But at the exact same point in time, I find almost as much satisfaction of seeing a car I want to drive pull up next to me and knowing that I can purchase it, but not.
But not do it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I could have, if I really wanted it, I'd do it.
Yeah.
You know? I think there's a lot of satisfaction in just getting to that point where, you know, you're just making the right decision, like Keith Cunningham, you know, and it's just like, you're just making the smart moves, but also you have that little internal, like, dude, I could do that if I really wanted to.
And that's the abundance. And that's important, though. One of the clients that I work with, he's a chiro, but he's very, very successful guy. He runs actually one of the most successful practices of anyone that we work with. And he's one of his mentors is like, yeah, dude, just carry around $1,000 in cash every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you know you have abundance. So whenever you like default or not, default to that scarcity mindset, you just remember, you know. And so one of the things that I want to buy, I was gonna try and buy it for my golden birthday. We'll see if it actually happens, which will be next year on August 29th.
Well, all right then.
I was gonna try and buy like a rollie. Because I always wanted a rollie, right? That was my whole thing. And like you said, I could buy it now. I could easily buy it now.
Yeah.
But like, it's not the right use of time or money.
You haven't hit the right milestone.
Yeah,
for it
you
yet.
know. And the thing is like you have to look at money as a resource, because it's like for me, it's like, okay, I could buy that, you know, $8,000-$10,000 watch, and that would be dope, and I would certainly love it. Or I could take $10,000, put them in the Facebook ads, and make $50,000 this month. You know what I mean? So it's like there's different times in the place. So I think when you're young in the business, you just have to be willing to just delay that gratification.
Yep. Another cool lesson right in track with that is like, what is money? Especially like business oriented people like you and me. Like this example, you'll be like, oh yeah, easiest analogy ever. But like I didn't understand this most of my life. And I think the book was M.J. DeMarco, Unscripted. Have you read that?
I haven't, no.
Dude, that is hands down my favorite book of all time. And it will vibe very well with you.
Hell yeah.
I'll send it to you. But MJ, I think it's MJ. Could be wrong. But he's talking about dollar bills. And he's like, dollar bills aren't anything but soldiers. I'm like, okay. And he's like, all you do is you take your soldiers. Say you have 10 soldiers. You got $10. It's like, what would you rather do? Would you rather just get rid of your soldiers and get bubble gum or like a drink or like whatever? Would you rather take those 10 soldiers and put them out into war and go capture more soldiers and bring them back? Now you got 20 soldiers.
That's good.
What are you going to do? Take 20 soldiers, put them back out in the field, have them go get some more soldiers,
Yeah.
have them go recruit some more people. And before you know it, dude, you got 1 million soldiers. And
That's
it's like,
good.
yeah, it's like, dude, last month in my business, I spent probably 5 times more money than I have ever spent in 1 month in my entire life. Like I made a bunch of large decision purchases.
Sure.
Dude, I haven't seen much come back from it yet because it's like they take time to like, you know, get the machine spinning or whatever.
Marinate.
But that's the way I look at it. I'm like, dude, if I'm going to spend 75 grand on all this stuff, like, okay, you know, can I live without it first?
Yep.
I was like, whatever. It's just money. I'll make more of it.
Even if that's how I usually weight all my decisions, man. It's, you know, that's the Jeff Bezos
YOLO.
shit. It's
YOLO.
like, well, it's how you make it. It's how you, because the problem is you, especially as entrepreneurs, you end up in decision fatigue so much of the time. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I shouldn't spend the money because what if, you know? So my whole thing is like, it's kind of how I invested in cryptocurrency, honestly. It's like, well, if I put this money out there and I lose it all, is that gonna be detrimental, or is it gonna be all right?
Yeah.
And the answer was it'll be all right.
Yeah.
So then I was like, fuck it, I'll put it in there because even if I lose it all, I'm still good.
Yeah, you're still Gucci.
So as long as you're not draining the account, it's worth the risk every time, even if there is risk. Because don't let them fool you, there is risk in everything.
Oh, there's a ton of risk in everything. There's also a ton of risk of just keeping your money.
That's what's inflation, like 6% this year, dude?
What are you doing? Like, what are you holding on to it for?
Dude, amen to that, bro.
I don't get it. Like, I have so many different conversations in my head from the past, just people that are like, oh no, you save your money. It's like, nah. I don't want it.
Right.
Like, what good is it doing over here when it could be in ads, it could be in marketing, it could be in product development, it could be in employees, whatever. It's like, dude, burn it.
100%.
I don't want it.
It'll come back too. Is you gotta take the Keith Cunningham. You gotta make the thinking time. Make a wise decision.
Yup.
But if you're confident, and a lot of times, after you're playing the game, you just have a gut instinct. Sometimes you gotta go with it.
That's huge. All right, now tell me, because you're an entrepreneur, and these are my favorite stories. What has been your worst day as an entrepreneur? When they say like it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Walk me through.
That's such a good question, dude.
Walk me through that one real quick.
There's been a couple like real bad days. I've been fortunate to say that like I haven't, up to this point, life's long, I haven't really like had like a day where like I blew like a lot of money on some dumb shit. There was one guy, and I'm not gonna obviously drop any names, but it was one of those things where when we were young in the business, and how we were getting business originally was we would basically go to people and we say, hey, look, we'll build you a sales funnel. We'll build you a landing page. We'll shoot you a landing page video. We'll even write the script for the video for you, and you can just we can just record the video. I'll edit it for you. And man, like, so we ended up doing that for this gentleman, and man, he just he ghosted us for the longest time, and then he finally got back together with us, and he just like was more so looking at Nick, because Nick was like the one showing him like the landing page that he had built and stuff, and we were novices,
Yeah.
But we weren't charging him anything. It was free. We were just trying to help the guy grow his business for free.
Yeah.
And like he totally just like started like tearing us apart. Like, this video is fucking terrible. Like, you guys don't know what you're doing. I'm like, dude, you're right. That's why we offered to do it for free.
Yeah.
If I thought I knew what I was doing, I would charge you $5,000.
It's costing you nothing but our time, really.
Yeah.
And a couple minutes of yours.
Right. So that was probably one of like the worst like client experiences. I would say like one of the other like worst, I don't know if it was like a particular like day, but I think just like the first 3 or 4 months of just not knowing what the hell is going on.
Every day is like you just wake up and get just slapped in the face.
And that's where the 1% came from, though. Mm-hmm. It's because like I was like, because I would get slapped and I'd be like, I was expecting it quicker. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, well, I gotta reframe my thinking here, because this is not serving me, bro. You know what I mean? So that was that. I would say it's hard to like really like pinpoint a day. There's been, man, honestly, I wish I could think about this one a little bit longer, because I'm sure there is one day that was just absolute dog shit.
Well, you probably like tried to delete it from your memory,
Yeah.
Like, you just go home, hit the bottle hard, and
straight up, dude, straight up. I mean, like I said, there's been a lot of times with like poor client experiences. There's been times where like Nick and I, my business partner, get into it a little bit, but it's never, you just keep pushing, bro.
Yup.
Like,
now, something that caught my attention is pricing.
I love pricing. It's my favorite thing in business.
Pricing and bad clients.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed the phenomenon, at least in your business? I know I haven't. Everything that I've done.
I already know where you're going with this,
dude,
bro. I already know.
Why is it? And like, I wish there was an audience. Like, we could stop our chat and like call on people. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure everybody knows this, but it's like, dude, how is it possible that the people that you bend over backwards, give them some type of discount or financial incentive or some different, pricing or whatever, or you're just starting and you're like, I don't know, $500 a month? It's
right.
like, dude, how come the cheapest motherfuckers end up being the worst clients?
Dude, literally, it happens all the time. So
every time.
every time, it's like not even. I used to think there was a couple times I'm like, oh, this is a coincidence. Hell no, that shit ain't no coincidence,
It's
bro.
not a coincidence.
That is not a coincidence. So I got an actual story about this. So
Yes, here we go.
We wanted to get a bunch more people in. This was like, man, it was probably like June or July of this year, and I was like, screw it, like I know what our retention looks like in our business, so I'm like, I'll bet on myself. I'm gonna run an ad for half off. Start for half off. First month half off. So it was a 2-month contract. Your first month was half off, and the next month, if we hit our guarantee, was full price.
Okay.
So I'm like, either way, they get 2 months. I know I'm gonna hit my guarantee. I'll still make some cash. I usually build a great relationship. We'll be good. So I signed up 3 people from that. One of them I got to give a shout out to. His name is Mike Sylvester. He's still with me. He's one of my favorite clients. He's a hustler.
Love it.
He literally just didn't have a lot of cash on deck at the time because he was starting his business.
Yeah.
And he worked his face off.
Yeah.
The other guys were established, and they joined for half off.
Uh-huh.
They were the shittiest clients on earth.
Always.
Didn't attend the meetings, didn't work the leads, constantly bitched about the leads, constantly said they were not quality, never did the homework, never went through the courses, just complain. That's all they did, right? And it's so funny too because it's like you were saying, it's not a coincidence, bro.
It's almost every time. There are some outliers,
right? Like
your
my guy
you
Sylvester,
yeah,
right. Exactly.
Where it's like, dude, I just need to get it down to a place where I can afford it.
Right, like I'll put in the work.
I'm gonna work with it.
Yeah.
But like right now, I just can't go top shelf pricing.
Yep.
And like, dude, in my business, same thing. Like, it's funny. Every time I increase pricing on anything, which is pretty much everything.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, yep.
It's like I attract more customers. I do more business effortlessly.
Yep.
And these people, well, because it's a higher price, higher perceived value, they show up more often. They put in more work. They get better results than people that are like, oh, can I get it for half off or what? It's like, no. Like Brock, my newer sales guy, he was working with a client. And he was like, he literally took a photo of the proposal, cut our contract in half, and cut the pricing in half. And it's like, he's like, can we do it? And I was like, I mean, we could,
but we won't.
I don't see any reason why we can't. But like, hell no.
Yeah.
He's like,
right.
Well, let's just get a deal. I'm like, do you want a bad client or a good client?
Right. And the thing is we don't need the money that bad.
Dude, I don't need the money that bad.
We get to the point where it's like, I mean, shit, like we're at the point in our business now where it's like, I mean, there's been months where we'll just get rid of the bottom 10%.
See ya. Peace out.
You get your acquisition on point, and you're like, fuck it, you're out.
Deuces.
Because it's like those people, they drain so much. Like they bitch the most, they take the most energy, they take the most time, they pay the least. Like, it's a total. So here's some value on that.
There we go.
This is like something that changed the game. Okay, I shouldn't say because I'm in the process of implementing, but I know you can predict shit.
Oh yeah.
This has changed the game. It's called a conditional guarantee.